Hello there. What is going on? BradAull with the All Property Group at Keller Williams in Columbia, South Carolina. And today I'm trying to do a video every week. But we're talking about a program that that came to my attention last week, and I wanted to invite a special guest on to explain this program or this loan feature that they now offer. And I said, well, this would be a good reason for us to do a video together and collaborate on something. So he's waiting backstage now. I'm going to bring in Kevin Kuper with Palmetto Mortgage. Thanks
Hey, Brad.
thanks for joining me today and explaining. So the program we're going to talk about is 2-1 buy down, and kind of there's some benefits to sellers and some benefits to buyers, and you know your stuff. So I wanted to get you to come on and talk about it a little bit. So can you explain to the folks a little bit about 2-1 buy down, maybe why, and we'll get into like why it's beneficial for sellers, why it's beneficial for buyers. But just kind of give us an overview of what a 2-1 buy down is.
Okay. Yeah, definitely in the the rate environment that we're in right now, a lot of people are kind of holding back just because of how high interest rates are, or compared to what they have been over the last few years. And this is a great program to help kind of ease that initial shock of having a little bit of a higher payment by allowing you to basically reduce your interest rate by 2% the first year, another 1% the second year, in hopes that within the next 2 years that you actually refinance it. So you really never, let's just say that your interest rate's at 7%. Well, your first, for your first year, their interest rate is going to be based off of 5%. So, if we get into a place to where you can, refinance, then you really have never paid that higher payment. So it allows you to kind of like ease into it.
So what is the cost associated with doing it? Is there like a general cost or a number you can throw out that?
So there's a formula. We just have to go in and look at, of course, the purchase price as part of it, and how much you're financing, and then how much the interest rate is going to be. So in general, it's somewhere around 3% of whatever your mortgage amount is about what it's going to be.
Okay.
As far as
the
cost.
Okay, cool. So I think just in talking to you over the last week and familiarizing myself with this, I think there's benefits to both. Talk a little bit about what the benefit is for a home buyer. Like, why would they? Because I've talked to a lot of people who want to wait. They might say, well, I'm going to wait 6 months or 9 months or a year. And how is something like this? How would something like this benefit them to maybe? Oh, well, maybe we don't have to wait.
Right. Sure. Well, we're in a time now to where actually buyers have a little bit more leverage than what they've had over the last couple of years. So getting the sellers to help them, minimize that impact of their payment is going to be a lot easier to do now than it will be probably sometime next year. A year from now, we'll probably be in a different environment, which I'm sure you'll probably go over that. But anyway, the main benefit is that you always are going to get the true benefit of the money that you're putting into this. So basically what it is let's just say, for instance, it costs $6,000. So the seller is going to give you a $6,000 seller credit to pay that difference in interest for the first 2 years. Well, that money goes into an escrow account that sits there. And then when you make your payment, it's going to pay that difference automatically. And the cool part about it is that if you do refinance and this is not a product for you to stay in for 30 years. Typically, you're going to be in it for a year to 2 years. When the rate environment changes, then you're going to refinance it into a fixed 30-year. And it is a fixed rate, but it's just going to be, at 7% instead of 5% where you really want to be. But if there's any money left over and you go to refinance, that money is going to go towards the principal of your house. So you're always going to get the benefit of it. to where is if, a lot of people now, if they pay a bunch of points and they're trying to buy down the rate, if they ever refinance, they might not ever see the benefit of them buying down the rate, because it could take 3-4 years for them to actually start recouping the cost of what they've spent. This, you get the benefit of it no matter what.
So you could spend the same $6,000 buying the rate down, or you could do the 2-1 buy down. And after a year, let's say the rate gets to where, because that's where I think most people are kind of open to in that 5% range now, where a year and a half ago that, that you didn't want to,
Right.
but now that they're at 7, 5 looks really good. So, if you don't have to wait 6 months to get there, and right now competition being, it seems like a lot of people want to wait, whether it's, 6 months, 9 months, a year from now.
Sure.
So you can reap the benefit. Sellers are wanting to sell, so they're maybe willing to give up some concessions. So you could spend the same $6,000, say you refinance in a year, and you've still got, I don't know, 5,000 or 4,500 or $4,000 in that escrow account. They're just going to slap that on the principal and knock it down. So whereas
Sure.
if you do a traditional buy down or buy the rate down, spend 6,000 to get the rate to where you want it to be, and you end up refinancing again, that money's just gone. I mean, you
Right.
spent it to get it there, and you didn't really keep it long enough for it to be advantageous.
Correct.
So,
And even if you did spend that much, I mean, you wouldn't be getting 2% less. You wouldn't even be getting close to what you could do on the 2-1 buy down.
okay, that's a good point then. Okay, so it's really not apples to apples. It's
No.
still you're going to lose the money if you refinance, and you're not
That's
going
right.
to get where you want to be anyway. So,
Yep.
I thought it was interesting because when you and I were crunching numbers last week, the rate on this particular model that we ran, it was actually less than 5%. So if people are waiting, I'm going to wait 6 months and hopefully it'll settle around there. I think it was like 4.875 or something. So it was actually below 5%. So I was like, well, gosh, you could really take advantage of that and, use that for, as long as you could, and just manage that. Okay, that next bump, it's going to bump up 1% the next year. Just ride that out as long as you can and keep that. If the rates don't dip to that level,
Right.
you could just ride it out and benefit from it. So definitely for buyers right now, you're looking at a little less competition because everybody seems to want to wait. And the flip side of that is when everybody jumps back in the pool in 6 months, it's could potentially be a feeding frenzy again. I mean, maybe sellers have more power than they have right now.
And to your point there, we've seen on contracts more seller credit now over the last few months than we have in the last couple of years. It changed really quickly, and when homes are sitting, a little bit longer, I mean, it's a lot better for them to get full price for their house, maybe give up 5-6 grand, than let it sit there for another couple of months, potentially.
Every month's another payment. I mean, that's if you subtract that, I mean, you could make up that $5,000 if it sits for several months. You could make that up quickly. So why not go ahead and offer the concession and move on with, because they're also holding up their dreams, their next move. So so that kind of touches on a little bit of the benefit for the seller then is that, the ability to, you can offer an incentive to make your listing more appealing, because we are seeing more listings. I don't know that I'm kind of in our area, in our MLS, I'm not seeing, I wouldn't call, there's not a heavy influx of quality listings. So if, if you have, let's say you advertise this product as something that the seller is offering, then you potentially become more appealing to a pool of buyers who might be looking for something like that. So, and then also, again, like you said, not having your house sit on the market and you get to move forward with your goals, your dreams, and get the deal done by offering this. So it sounds like it could be beneficial for both buyers and sellers.
Yeah,
Uh,
most definitely. Yeah, you're right. I mean, your house is going to be a lot more attractive if you're looking at two houses that are basically equal, and one offers that and the other doesn't. I mean, I think I would go with the one that's going to be buying down my rate by a couple of points.
yeah, and part of the reason for this video is just getting that information out there, just so people understand and know that, hey, this is something that's available. So if you, I wouldn't pass up my dream home right now if, if there's a way out, there there's a way to move forward now, not wait, not experience the competition that we have been, because the last year and a half, I mean, we've needed things to kind of level a bit. I mean, the days of 15 showings in a day, and I
Right.
had one, in a year, in the last year or so, I had 23 showings the first day and 20 offers. I mean, that's a well, 23 showings goes from sun up to sundown. So,
Right.
we needed things to balance a little bit, but this is a good way for things to kind of swing towards the buyers a little bit, where they can get a little more relief and maybe a little more
Sure.
bang for their buck. And it's been a while. They've been sacrificing a good bit for the last few years, so time. It's nice to have a little balance here. Is there anything else you want to add that maybe we didn't touch on that might be something to
The
consider
only,
in doing this?
the only thing I would say is definitely if you're looking to buy a house right now, I mean, you don't want to buy points down. So a product like this is what you want to do, and you have to get the seller to do it, because essentially you don't want to use your own money to pay the difference in interest. There wouldn't make a whole lot of sense with that. But there's just a lot of good creative ways to help minimize that little bit higher payment and get you into the house that's going to suit your family's needs. And the thing about it is, and I can't you know um, agree with you more um, than this, as far as like the amount of competition. Unless you have a lot of money saved up and you're willing to go 10, 15,000 over asking price and don't need closing costs, because I really feel like that's the way we're going to head once the floodgates open and all these people that have been sitting get back into the market. It's going to be harder to get your offers accepted. So um, if you have a little bit less capital to work with, now's the time to do it, because the rate that you have now, if you can buy it down, it's going to be more affordable for you, and you're not going to have to worry about paying over what the list price is of a house a year from now.
Right. Yeah. And that's something we're not thinking about. We're looking. A lot of people look only at the rate, and, well, I'd like the rate to be lower, but there are a lot of other potential negative outcomes for waiting that time frame. But people, yeah, rate dips, and people want to jump back in because they're scared it's gonna. If you watch the news enough, they don't. Good news doesn't sell. Bad news usually sells. So they
Right.
struck this fear in us that, hey, if the rates dip down, people are going to jump in like, hey, I've got to get in when I can, because I don't know where it's going to settle. So yeah, you could have a feeding frenzy effect again once things
Most definitely.
level off a bit. So, but you guys are anticipating. I mean, you guys are basically projecting that there's going to be a rate decrease at some point within the next year and a half.
Yeah, they're expecting for rates to, it's probably going to creep up again, through the end of this year, then level off and then start to go back down. There's some saying that we could be back into the low sixes by spring, and then by the beginning of the next following year, could possibly be back into the fours. It really just depends on when we really feel the brunt of the recession that we're in, is when rates are going to go back down. Of course, they're trying to get inflation under control. So that's why the Fed's been doing what they've been doing over the last few months. But, and some people feel like they've kind of overcorrected too. So once we, realize that, I think rates are going to continue to go down, toward the middle of next year.
Right. Okay, that's good. That's offering a bit of hope in
Right.
potentially. I don't watch the news. I kind of check our local MLS to get my and talk to educated lenders like yourself just to get a feel for what I'm seeing and what they are seeing, and just kind of see indicators in our market what's happening here, because we're a unique environment here for real estate. So,
Most
uh,
definitely.
well, if folks watching, if you have questions, of course, you can reach out to me, and I will include my email address and phone number in the description. If Kevin's okay with it, I'll put his email address and phone number in
Sure.
the description as well if you have questions about this. But this is something that once we started talking, I got really excited about the prospects of the 2-1 buy down and how it could benefit folks that I'm working with. And so I said, well, let's do a video and get the word out there. So Kevin, I appreciate you stepping in and joining me today and explaining this to you. And yeah, if you guys, Kevin's a good guy and he knows his stuff. If you need help with any of this, I'm sure he'll be happy to assist you. So
Anytime.
yeah, thanks a lot for joining us, and we'll have to do another one of these. We'll figure out what topic
There
we
you
can.
go.
It was I enjoyed it, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, take care.
You too.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining us. We'll stay tuned. I'll be doing more of these kind of videos in the future. Thanks for watching, and if you have questions, as always, feel free to reach out to me. Take care.